Welcome to part 2 of building Monogram's 57 Street Vette as my contribution into the naked model group build hosted by Sodak Model Cars. Last time I discussed what tools and supplies would be used, which includes no paint. Then I started surgery to blend the colored plastic between these two kits. Now let's get back to surgery and then start assembling. The next piece of surgery is going to need to be done very, very carefully. So we're going to have the panel scriber, and this thing has a very fine edge between the dash and the body and between where the windshield goes. And we're going to scribe all the way around and remove the dash from this body, and then do the same thing on Mr. Red Body. Take this one and glue it in this one. So this, as we say, is going to take, this is going to be probably the most tedious, and again I'm using a very light touch to start the scribe. And you let the tool do the work. And as you can see how much material is coming off? That's all it does. You don't need to take out any more. Don't jab this thing in. And get that groove going. And once you get the groove, you can go a little bit faster and start adding a little bit more pressure. I'm not really at the most ideal angle here, but I think you kind of get the idea. And it's going to take some time to cut this out. So go grab a cheeseburger or something like that, and we'll check in a minute. Okay, 2 hours and 37 minutes later, yeah, maybe more like 25, the dash is separated from the black body. A little bit of cleanup to do, and I was pretty happy I only got out of the lines that one little spot right there. And I think the windshield frame will cover it. There's a little nick right there, but close enough for what we're doing here. That was quite thick to scribe through. And this is the old school high impact plastic, so that was a little tedious job right there. I'm hoping it goes better with this plastic. So time to rinse and repeat. So kind of done a little bit of cleanup with the stick and a piece of sandpaper. Same thing with the dashboard. And we're going to use a little piece of tape just to see how this party works. And that fits pretty nice. And then combined with our interior and engine compartment, I think we are well on our way. So as you can see, the tire burn that we showed before that was back here. We have sanded it out with some 3200 grit, and I'm going to start taking that one out. Get that little guy out of there. And this is the same kind of technique that you would use for polishing glass. Like if you got some scratches in the glass, you'd be surprised how much, how you could repair something that looks really, really bad. And I think with this one, that one is pretty far in, and I don't know if I really want to get that much into it, because once you get it repolished, I think it would just be so minor, you're not going to really see it. But as you can see, it's still there, but certainly not as noticeable as it was. Well, it's noticeable right now because we got to run through all those other grits. But that's kind of what you do on a paint job anyway, right? So continuing on the polishing, I did go on and take out the mold lines, which is kind of, since I was already in this area, the mold line ran across the top here, and I got to be real careful, but it jumps around to in here, goes through here, and then goes down this body line, and it's actually this piece of chrome trim, and then it comes straight across here, and you can kind of still see a faint little portion of it, which I don't want to get real close to this trim, because I'm going to try to make that look nice with bare metal foil later on. So again, same, we're just kind of cleaning up, because this was pretty bad in here. But I think once we run through the polishing kit, we'll be able to get out these Mars and then really slick this thing up and move on to the next step. Well, step one is the engine, and I guess you probably figured out we're going to use the red plastic for this, and it should be noticed it has two different transmissions, and it calls for 91 because that one looks beefier, and so yeah, I think I have an idea for the transmission. We shall see how that works. So something just fell in the burn pile. We're going to sprue cut. So we have started assembling engine, step one, and here's what we've done. This is all the red plastic out of the 1998 kit. I even kind of sanded out that seam. It's always going to show because we're not painting it, but at least, it's not totally rough. And a lot of these parts are going to be chrome, so they haven't really been put on. But the other parts that aren't chrome, we have the exhaust headers, and I think I'm going to use the black ones because that'll give some contrast. And of course, for the belts, we use the black ones, so we'll glue those on. And The exhaust manifolds I'm going to leave off for a minute because we might do something with these because I said when we looked at the transmission I was going to do something, and aha, while it's not perfect by any means, that is bare metal foil on the transmission. So see, it's kind of crumpled up there. It's okay, you don't see that. And kind of busted out at the transmission mount, but that goes into the chassis. Probably won't see that much, but again, I smoothed the seam out mostly, and so when this all goes together, at least it won't look like just a giant blob of red. That's the goal. So using the foil, I think I'm going to try putting it on the exhaust pipes. We shall see. So here's the completed engine, and as you can see, we have picked out the exhaust pipes with foil. Didn't even really bother to wrap the tops of them. You don't see that. That's all right. Also wrapped the fan. Can't see the front of it, so that's okay. It looks pretty good from this side. And the foiled transmission also looks pretty good. I put a little bit of Panaline accent, the only real paint we can use, a little bit on the velocity stacks and on the valve covers, a little bit on the transmission. And also see I put some foil on the oil filter, the fuel pump, and even the starter. And you might be wondering where the black came from. That is just simply a piece of electrical tape cut and wrapped. There was a pretty nasty sink mark up underneath there that still a little bit of a divot there, but that's okay. We're going to just kind of call this done, and this seems like a good stopping point. So if you like what you see of the naked model, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, because I have all kinds of model car stories to tell. Thanks for watching.